Okay, we are drawing a still life picture today, and we're going to be using a circle tracer for the center. And this is going to be our pear. So right in the middle of my 6x9 piece of paper, I'm tracing a circle, and then on the other side of that, tracing another circle for my orange. And then the last one here. So 3 circles in a row. Okay. Just going over this a little bit darker so you can see that orange a little better. Okay. So now my middle one is the pear. So I'm going to draw a bump up and down. So this part here I don't need anymore. And I can erase. Okay, I'm just going to make a little stem. And then the pear's done. The orange has a little circle stem, and then little triangles coming around that like the sun, and maybe a few dots. Okay, I'm not going bam, bam, bam with my pencil. I'm just making little dots. I shouldn't hear any noise. Okay, and then on this side, I'm going to make an apple, or the apple details. So the curve and curve, kind of like making a bird flying far away. And then coming off of that, a stem. And then I also added a little leaf. Curving up, curving down. Okay, and then underneath all of it, I have my table. And I'm going to go up a little bit higher than right underneath. I'm going to go up a little higher on the side here. I'm going to skip over my orange. If I have any space in between there, I can draw my line. And then another line over there for my table. Little shadow underneath. So I'm just taking my pencil and just going back and forth a little bit underneath each fruit, and I can just blend that out with my pencil. Okay, then I'm ready for my watercolor crayons. So I just open my drawer, and I'm gonna do a little bit of coloring along the edges of all my fruit. So I don't have to color them all the way in, because I'm going to blend colors. So for example, on my pear, I'm using green. And also some yellow. Okay, I can leave this part white. I don't need to color that in. And then for my apple, going around it with red. And then a little bit of orange on the inside. And around my orange. orange. And a little bit of yellow. And again, leaving some white in the middle of each one. If you didn't, that's okay. And a little green on my stem. A little green in my leaf. A little brown on my stem. And I did a little brown on my table. Okay, then I'm ready for my paintbrush. And you can see my green and my yellow blend together. Gonna get a little more water. For a nice color for my pear. And if I leave some white, it kind of looks like my pear might be shining. Okay, when I paint in a different spot to a different color, I want to come over here to the red. I clean out my brush really well. Okay, I'm going to do a little on my green, so I cleaned out my brush. A little green over here. And you know, some of it comes outside the lines a little bit. That's okay. It's hard because it's watercolor paint. It's hard for them to stay in one spot because the water just naturally spreads. Okay, and then underneath, might want to use my bigger brush for the bigger spaces. All right, and I'm all set. Hope it turns out just fabulous for you too.